Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about percents. Percents can be tricky for a lot of people, but they're one of the math concepts that we use most frequently in the real world, so it's important that we understand them. From shopping to banking, understanding percents can help you make the most out of your number sense. So here at Mathnasium, we want to help you make sense of those percents. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we want to do is think about this word, percent. What does it really mean? Well, to figure that out, I want to ask you a few questions first. The first question is, how many cents are in a dollar? Pretty easy, right? That's just 100. The second question, how many years are in a century? Well, that's pretty straightforward too. That turns out to also be 100. But let's take a look at what these words have in common. Cent is in century. Cents are in a dollar. So when we're talking about percents, we're really talking about hundreds because that's what that cent part means. Now we have percent, and per means for each. So we can take that word percent and break it down to mean for each 100. So how can we use that to help us figure out what a percent is? Well, let's try a few questions. My first question is, what is 7% of 300? Well, the first question we want to ask is, how many hundreds do we have? Well, that's not too bad. If it's 300, then we have 3 hundreds. And since we know that percent means for each 100, and we have 7%, then we have 7 for each 100. So we can use that to help us figure out the answer. So if we have 7% of 3 100ths, then our answer is just 7 times 3, which is 21. Now that wasn't so bad, was it? Let's try one that's a little bit trickier, because we're not always going to have numbers that are perfect hundreds. Why don't we try 8% of 250? Now that one doesn't have a perfect hundred in it. I'll move this down. So we still ask that same first question, how many hundreds? So we have 2 whole hundreds, and it turns out we have 50, right? But 50 is the same as half of a 100, so we can say we also have half of a 100. So we can use that. If we have 8 for each 100, we can do 8 for the first 2 hundreds, so that'll just be 8 times 2, or 16. And then if we have half of 100, we can also take half of our 8%. So that's just going to be half of 8, or 4. Then we add together these two different pieces, so we have 16 plus 4, and that's going to give us 20. So 8% of 250 is just 20. Now let's try one more. What do you think we're going to do for 12% of 225? Well, we ask those same questions again. First, how many hundreds? We have 2 whole hundreds in 225, but then we have that 25. And you can think to yourself, well, 25, if we think back to that money from earlier, 25, that's how much cents a quarter is. And how many quarters are in a dollar? 4. So it turns out 25 is 1/4 of 100. So we have 2 whole hundreds and 1/4 of 100. So for those 2 100ths, we're going to take 12, because we have 12%, 12 for each 100. We'll take that 12 2 times, so that gives us 24. And then we need to add how much we have left from this 1/4. So what's 1/4 of 12? Well, we can just divide 12 by 4 to get that answer, and that gives us 3. So 24 plus 3 is 27. So 12% of 225 is just 27. I hope you enjoyed that quick lesson on percents, and if you want to know more about how we can make some complicated math concepts make sense to you and your student, please give us a call. Thanks.